The mortgage is paid, the lawn is manicured, the house is still. You've built the life you were told would lead to fulfillment, but inside that house, there is a silence that has nothing to do with peace. You and your wife haven't touched each other in months. The bed has become a landscape of distance. You lie on one edge, she on the other, with a cold expanse between you that neither of you knows how to cross. Standard advice suggests your relationship is toxic or that you've stopped communicating. It treats a sexless marriage as a sign of failure, but the truth is far more complex. For many, the lack of intimacy is the unintended result of the very stability and safety they worked so hard to achieve. Relationships are built on the need for security, the predictability and oxytocin-driven bonding that comes from a reliable partnership. This security provides the foundation for a functional co-parenting team and a stable, efficient household. However, desire operates on a different axis. It thrives on adventure, mystery, and the unknown, elements in direct tension with domestic comfort. When a couple optimizes entirely for a frictionless household, they maximize security, but they inadvertently destroy the environment where lust survives. Predictability acts like a vacuum. Eroticism functions like a fire. Fire cannot burn without oxygen. In the psychology of a relationship, that oxygen is distance and the presence of two distinct individuals. By removing every trace of risk or separateness from the home, couples can accidentally suffocate the polarity that triggers attraction. Much of modern relationship culture encourages a merged identity as the final goal of a long-term partnership. Over time, two separate people with their own interests and boundaries begin to trade their individuality for total compromise. Eventually, those boundaries disappear. The two individuals fuse into a single unit designed primarily to manage the logistics of daily life. This provides deep emotional safety, but it often shifts the couple from being lovers to being best friends or co-parents. For many men, this transition leads to total domestication. A man surrenders his individual frame to maintain a quiet, conflict-free home. He begins to ask permission for his hobbies. He focuses his energy on chores, prioritizing the unit's comfort over his personal drive. In doing so, he becomes a known quantity. There is no longer any part of him that remains a mystery. When a man becomes as predictable as the furniture in the living room, he stops being an object of desire and starts being a component of the house. This creates the sibling cycle. You have affection, loyalty, and deep friendship, but the biological spark is gone. Sexual attraction relies on polarity, the pole between two distinct, different forces. When a man loses his individual edge, his role shifts. He ceases to be a partner and functions as a service provider. This forces a change. To keep the household running, she must step into the role of manager or even a mother. The brain has different pathways for caregiving and eroticism, and they generally do not operate at the same time. When intimacy is framed as an obligation or a task to be completed, the reward system in the brain often disengages. The bedroom ceases to be a place of play and is categorized by the mind as another form of household work. A maternal dynamic destroys desire. Taking responsibility for a partner's schedule and basic tasks is a role biologically at odds with lust. Simply put, it is difficult to desire someone for whom you feel parentally responsible. This dynamic leads many men into a common trap, believing that more domestic labor is the key to reigniting the spark. It's a transactional mindset. The idea that if you do more dishes or manage more chores, you earn physical intimacy as a form of payment. This strategy almost never works because it addresses the logistics of the home rather than the psychology of the bedroom. Attraction is rarely triggered by servitude. It is triggered by the presence of a man who maintains his own direction and leadership. Becoming a more efficient assistant reinforces the sibling dynamic. It runs the household better, but erodes the distance required for tension. Domestic pacification is excellent for managing a home, but it often leaves the relationship with no erotic power. Breaking the paradox requires more than a date night. It requires a fundamental shift in how you interact with a relationship. This process is called repolarization. It involves breaking the merged identity. The single domestic unit must split back into two autonomous individuals who choose to be together. As these individuals pull apart, a gap is created. That space is the only place where tension can breathe. This is the art of separateness. It is the practice of maintaining your own identity within the marriage. Reclaiming your individual frame means having a mission, autonomy, and a life that exists outside the household. This isn't about being dismissive or creating conflict for the sake of it. It is about being less available. Intimacy requires two people coming together, and you cannot come together if you are already permanently fused. Real intimacy requires a divide to cross, two people choosing to bridge a gap, rather than two halves living as a single unit. Building a happy home is one objective. Maintaining a passionate one is a different challenge that requires you to protect your own edges. You must be willing to accept the friction that comes with reclaiming your autonomy. The risk of being your own person is the requirement for being desired. Stop acting like a service provider. Stay grounded. Stay a man.